Hey guys, it's Cecil here and I hope everyone is doing absolutely fantastic today. Today I just want to make a quick guide about dye jobs, what they are and how they are commonly used, why you should use them, and all of that. I get asked questions about this all the time, so please pay attention to this video before placing an order, or if you're just curious at all about dye jobs and how they work and the process behind it. Now before we get started, just a quick announcement that we're almost at 1,000 subscribers. I am so excited, and so is the mod team in our Discord server. We're hosting another card competition and event for a 1K sub special. You can go ahead and join the Discord server to vote on the theme, as well as different giveaways and stuff that you better believe is going to be huge. I'm also going to be doing a special Q&A session kind of video for my YouTube channel with my camera on, with questions that you guys can post to me on the Discord. Super excited for that, super excited to meet you guys, and so stay tuned for that. So what is a dye job? A dye job in simple terms is when you give the card that you want to be dyed to the person dyeing for you, and that dyer then receives that card and then tests a certain amount of dyes on that card, and then you pick a dye and then you choose that dye, and the person will dye that card for you and then give it back. So trade it back for a certain fee. And remember, simply typing K dye, all this, simply typing it doesn't actually dye the card, but it just shows what each of the dyes look on that card. So each of these dyes look differently on the dyes. So I'm the dyer and I help test these dyes for the person who wants my services, right? So this is the main reason why dye jobs are so popular and sought after. It's a very easy and efficient way to kind of find and apply the perfect dye for your card. And this is especially true when you go to, like, when you're trying to rent mystics, right? Like, you know, some of the most expensive and, you know, best glow mystics out there, they can easily cost someone over $300 to $400 USD to buy.
Damn!
You know, so is it realistic to really buy every, you know, good mystic just to apply for your own personal use? You know, maybe if you're like Bezos or something, but more realistically, you're going to be paying the extra 4 to 5 ticket fee to use someone else's expensive mystic dye, so you don't have to buy the dye, you know, itself, right? So this is my dye collection, and some of these are pretty expensive, but as a dyer, I'm only charging 5 tickets more than it cost me to kind of rent this out. But this obviously cost me a lot more than 5 tickets, right? So it's a really easy and efficient way for someone to borrow someone else's mystic dye to put on their personal card for their personal use. Besides that pro, there's also the pro of testing multiple colors before you dye that card. So usually trusted dyers or dyers in general will have multiple colors that you can choose from and test, so you can kind of see which one you like the best. So what are the processes to get a dye job, right? Let me walk you through it. So step 1, you figure out the card theme, right? You finally got a good card, you know, a decent morph, you know, you frame it and you decide to add the final touch. You want a dye for your card. Generally, you want to have an idea of what color or theme you want to be going for. For example, you know, for more like darker aggressive characters like Sasuke or whatnot, you might want like a darker, you know, color, or, you know, something that matches a frame or the image of the card itself, right? So obviously, like, if you're looking for a dye here, like, I would look to match like the background, maybe like a dark purple, or his cloak, or even like, you know, his red eye. So all those are options here. I obviously wouldn't go for something like, you know, like a green or something, right? So you don't have to have like a very specific idea in mind before you rent a dye, but it makes the process easier when you're looking for, you know, the perfect dye for your card. Step 2 is to figure out whether or not you want a mystic or a normal dye. Now, let's say, for example, let's take this card for example, right? You know, you can either choose to have like a light brown match the hair, or like a red or something. You can either go for a normal dye like this one, or you can go for a mystic dye, like right, this one. Like, we can try it out now. This versus this. Mystics with current market prices cost about around 67, 66, 68 tickets to dye. Normal dyes with current market prices, I usually charge around 4 to 5 tickets. So obviously mystics are much more expensive, but they look a lot cooler. Like, there's a glow around the card, and it adds a lot more effort than a regular normal dye. So it's up to you whether or not what your budget is and all that. If you don't know all this yet, make sure to watch my effort and dye guides linked above. Definitely helpful before watching this video. Now that you know what kind of dye you want, like a mystic or normal, it's time for step 3. Now step 3 is to find the dyer. Usually there's a bunch of people like in hub, like just spamming like chat, like, hey, doing dye jobs and whatnot. You generally want to avoid those people because there's a higher risk of scamming and they aren't trusted, and you don't really know that. The best way to find people to go for a dye job is through a third-party Karuta server, like like Karuta Dye Town or Karuta Kit City, all that. And the reason why is because these servers usually have trusted dyers and channels where you can actually choose between different dyers. So a lot of people in these servers have been dyeing for months and they know the ins and outs of it, and they've probably held a more valuable card than yours, so they're not going to scam you. Like for example, my server, right? If you want to rent a dye or get a dye job, you simply scroll down to here, go to where it says trusted dye prices, right? Here, all the trusted dyers in my server have ads that they post. You can read them. You can get your card dyed by Mai. She has her prices here and her mystic list here. My list is right here, my prices, and you can click on this link to get a better view of all the mystics. And after you look at their ad and you note down a few dyes that you want them to try on your card, here comes step 4. It's time to fill in the order. Like I said, now that you know what card you want to be dyed and which dyes you want, this channel is constructed so that's very easy for both customers and the dyer, to know and to keep track of who hasn't been dyed yet. For my server, it's called testing order. Like Karuta XO might be different for Karuta City or Karuta Dye Town, whatever. Most servers have kind of like a testing order channel to make it easier for organizational purposes. But all you need to know right now is to fill an order, all you need to do, ping the person you want to test the dye. So take God or Pegasi, for example. This person pinged me as a tester, and then the card that they want to be dyed, and then the dye codes of each dye they want tested on my card. And to make it easier for the person testing dyes, please put the dye codes like this, like a list. I prefer commas in between each of the codes. Some people don't. But after you place an order, the person who you pinged will then ping you when they are ready to take your card and test, right? So for example, God or Pegasi pinged me at 1:30 p.m. today with his order. And if I scroll up here, I ping the person. I ping 2 people that place orders I haven't gone to yet. And yeah, that's basically what the dye job is. I ping them and they give me the card. K gives sea salt card. I accept it and I start testing, right? I K dye are these dyes, and that person can see each dye on the card and how it looks so they can choose which one they want. After I test all these dyes, the person says, I like this one the most, right? And so I apply the dye and we trade, and he gives me the tickets and I give him the card with the dye applied. That's it. That's basically what a dye job is. That's pretty much all you need to know. There are a couple things to note, right? One, please be prompt when it comes to responding or interactions. At least for me, I work full-time, so I'm usually catching up on my dye jobs in between like different 10-minute breaks I have. So definitely whenever I ping, so if you're not here, it's fine, but like there are some people that like just I say like hey oh, and they respond to me like hi, and they don't give me the card for like another like 3 minutes. So just be more prompt if you can. 2, use the testing order channel. This is very important to me because I basically have a list of every person I need to get to dye. If people DM me, that gets lost in my DMs. A lot of people DM me and they're like, hey, can you test a dye on my card? The most optimal way to do it is to definitely place an order, or else I'm probably gonna forget you and your DMs are gonna get lost in my DMs, because I do get a lot every day. So that helps a lot. And thirdly, please write your dyes properly. This helps a lot too. That way I can copy and paste it and test really fast. And one thing to note too, I do ping like batches. So sometimes if there's like 3 orders I haven't gone to yet, I'll ping like 3 people. Do not give like a card in the middle of testing. Like if I pinged 3 people here and I started testing for the first person, they gave me their card, please don't interrupt me and like try to give me a card while I'm testing. Like I'm not going to accept it and like start testing for you instead of finishing their order first. It's first come first serve, so definitely watch out for that. So yeah, that's basically it for the dye jobs. Please follow the rules. It's definitely a lot of fun. You'll get your card dyed pretty cheaply, and yeah, hit me up if you want any mystic dye jobs or dye jobs. Let me know, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks.